Hi, I'm Colin. I'm 15 years old and I'm restoring a SAAB. Welcome back to yet another episode of the Bumpy Road Show. Today we had a little bit of an issue with my car, but we decided to fix it. Whenever my car was trying to shift into fifth gear, it'd kind of stay in gear, but then it'd just immediately pop right out and back into neutral. And we're going to find out how to fix that. We're going to give you guys a little bit of a technical description from the SAAB service manual, and we're going to fix it ourselves. Come with me on this journey to figure out how. As always, before the episode begins, we talk about last episode's game winner. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a winner for today's episode because nobody could quite guess the answer, and I'm honestly shocked with all the SAAB experts out there and hobbyist mechanics that nobody was able to guess it. Now, we get to move on to the work. The manual actually covers steps for both 4-speed and 5-speed models, but since my car is a 5-speed, this is the page that we'll be following. The removal process starts with removing the gear lever from the gear lever housing. The second step says to remove the hollow dowel and remove the sleeve, spring, and bearing components. Number 3 says to unscrew the catch stud from the catch rod. Number 4 says to remove the rubber boot from its sleeve. Number 5 says to pry away the knob from the hollow lever. And number 6 says to remove the sleeve from the catch rod. Assembly is in reverse order. The diagram to the right and the picture on the bottom both depict the gear lever housing and its completion, showing you what each part is just so you can follow the steps a little more closely. This page refers to removing the center console, but it's using a 1983 model as an example. To remove it, the first step is to remove the seats from the rear limit of their fore and aft adjustment and apply the handbrake. The next step is to engage the reverse gear and remove the ignition key. The third step is to remove the handle for the choke control, and for cars that have carburetor engines, then you want to push the control in. Step 4 says to remove the 2 scrolls for the cover, top part of the console, and raise the cover so that the cables can be disconnected from the switch for the interior lighting, and then you want to release the cover from the gear lever. Finally, the 5th step says to remove the ashtray located at the rear of the console, remove the 5 screws, raise the console, and remove the lamp for the ignition lighting. The console can then be released from the gear lever. Assembly will be in reverse order. Seeing as this is a shifting issue, we first need to remove the shifter so that we can better diagnose our issues in finding whether we need the first method of repair or the harder second method of repair. Let's get started. To begin this removal process of the shifter, we need to first lift the boot and then unscrew the 3 screws on the securing plate that goes on top of the shifter joint. Removing the securing plate allows the joint to move around more freely just so we can align it to a point where we can take the entire assembly out so that we can better diagnose our issues and know whether we need to go the easy way or we need to go the hard way. Now that we've found out that the shifting catch wasn't the actual issue and rather a shift linkage related issue, we move on to packing our shifter with white lithium grease so that we can begin our second method of repair.
Put some on here. We don't need a lot of it. We just want to get things coated. And then we want it on here. This, where that's got a good greasy surface. And see, this lithium grease is really good for the plastics. All right, and we'll put it on here. A little bit more finger here. So we'll get that around there like that. All right. Now that's all nice and freshly lubricated. See, there's just a film of it. It doesn't have to be gobbed on and gunks. All right. And then we'll clean our hands up a little bit and we'll go look at the car and we'll see what that side looks like.
This is a photo of the shift linkage adjuster, and for some of you, you might be able to notice that the adjusting nut is on the wrong side, as it's not visible. This photo was taken underneath the car while trying to trace our shifting problem, and this obviously led to our conclusion on the fact that this was the issue with the fifth gear. And I'm going to show you how we realigned our shift linkage. This is my shift linkage, which you saw in that photo just a second ago, and what we were doing was on this end, you have the shift linkage adjuster, and so the people who had serviced my car before me had the shift linkage adjuster on like this, which is not how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to be on like this, and so we had to change that, and it was very difficult because it's not how it's supposed to be. And so this end goes into the car. This is where your shifter is right here, which you saw us taking out. This is your ignition, actually. So in the end, the shift linkage issue was a really easy fix. The way we started it was we looked on this side whenever we were trying to loosen the nut on the coupling, and we realized that it was on the wrong side because we couldn't get to it. So we had to take the pin that attaches the coupling to the transmission out. We had to flip the bushing with the coupling on the other side, so it's on the right side now. We can work on it. We put the pin back into the transmission, and then we had to align it on the inside of the car before we tighten the nut. Now that we're inside of the car, we get to do the physical adjustment with the shift linkage. We took our shifter, and in our case, we needed to move it about 1 millimeter to the left and about 1 or 2 millimeters back. Now after that, you want to not move anything and go fasten that coupling immediately. And we took it on a test drive, and lo and behold, it worked. We got fifth into gear. This was my shift linkage solution, and I'm hoping that anybody else who had the exact same issue as I did found the solution in this video. But if it doesn't quite resolve your issues, please leave a comment and I'll try to help the best I can. For today's hint, I'm interested to see if you guys can tell me what is exactly inside of this tool and where it goes to. I want to see you guys collect your thoughts in the comments and come up with your best answer. The correct answer, as always, will be posted at the beginning of the next video.